Hello, I'm going to go over the lab report for lesson 3.04 compounds. Walk you through all the things that you need to do in order to get that completed and earn the best grade on your work possible. Make sure you have your lesson page open. Make sure you have a copy of that lab report, either from Buzz or the forced copy through Google Docs, and my video, all three tabs open at the same time, and you can move between the actual lab in the lesson page and my video, and then complete the lab report as you go. I mentioned there is a forced copy, a Google forced copy right here that you can get open. If you click on that, it has it available to you. You click on make a copy, and it will open up the new document. So let's take a quick look at this because I have changed the format for lab reports a little bit, hoping that this will help you make it easier to understand exactly what you need to complete. You're going to notice as you look through the lab report that there are different tables that weren't there before. What I've done is taken all of the questions that you need to answer that are part of the rubric, and I've added them to the lab report. So in the name and title section, you now see a box for you to enter your name, my name, the date, and the name of the lab. The name of this lab is compounds. The objective, in your own words, what is the purpose of this lab? A great place to find the purpose is in the name of the lab, compounds. So you know that the objective is to do something with compounds. Then as you work through the lab, what are you actually doing with compounds? What is this lab specifically asking you to do in relation to compounds? And we'll see that together in just a minute. The hypothesis should be made in the form of an if-then statement. If I choose 3 elements, then I can, and that will be listed in the simulator. For the procedure section, this is a section that people were missing. You need to report if there were any errors or factors that might affect the outcome that you did. And then you need to label the independent and dependent variables. The independent or testing variable of a science experiment is the item that changes. What is different from one part of your experiment to another? What are you changing? The dependent variable is what you're measuring. What is the outcome? What happens because of that change? Here you will have a place to record your data. And then finally, there are 5 conclusion questions that you need to answer. Make sure you answer them using complete sentences. That is part of the rubric for this assignment. And it isn't included now, but I will be adding a copy of the rubric to the bottom of this lab report so you can see exactly how your work will earn the grade you want. So let's take a look in the actual lab simulator. You will get to that page after working through all 4 pages that do talk about compounds. You are going to go through these pages slowly, making sure you understand all of the material in it before you come to the last page that has the assignment. This is an example of an assignment that Buzz has kind of hidden, and they frustrate me. Right here is the link to the simulator, so go ahead and click on that. All right. Welcome to the Mad Science Laboratory, where all kinds of compounds are made. You have been selected as the new lab assistant whoop, whoop, for our compound creation project. Please select the Elements and Compounds section to get started. Elements combine in a multitude of ways to produce compounds that make up all of the living and non-living things we encounter. These compounds are made of 2 or more elements and combine during a chemical reaction. The possible combinations of elements and compounds are numerous, but they are limited by the number of elements on the periodic table. In this activity, you will do some mad science with our virtual lab expert to make your own compounds. Select the next button to enter the mad science laboratory. This is the first phase where we're going to put things together to create new objects. And it's kind of a practice session for the compound frenzy. Congratulations, you've been selected to be a lab assistant for the world famous mad scientist, Dr. Wild. He is known for his compound creations, and he's ready to show you how to make your own. But first, you should practice your mixing and combining skills. Your first task is to mix things up. What can you make from these starting items? You're going to drag and drop 2 items into the flask to see what you can make. When you run out of time, select the Show All button to see all the possibilities that were there. There are 14 combinations. We only have 3 minutes. So this is what it looks like. We're given water, fire, and earth. And if you put the items into the reactant, I just made steam by combining water and fire. If I combine fire and earth, I get a new item, lava. If I combine earth and water, I get mud. Now, if I start combining the steam with mud, nothing happened. But I can continue to mix these different elements together to create compounds. Now you can see there's 2.5 minutes left. I've created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 14. I'm not going to show you the rest of this. You can do this on your own, and I'll meet up with you in just a minute once my 2 minutes is finished. All right, so I have finished that section. I'm going on to the next section, the compound frenzy. Here is where you can form your hypothesis. Before you begin this experiment, you're going to predict how many compounds do you think you can make from the elements below. You're going to pick 1 element from the metal list and 2 from the non-metal list. For example, this could be your hypothesis. If I use sodium, hydrogen, and oxygen, then I can make 10 new compounds in 5 minutes. Use this as a sentence frame for your hypothesis. You need to pick 1 item from the metal column, so either sodium or calcium, and 2 from the non-metals, either hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, or chlorine. If I list your 3 items, then I can make, how many compounds are you estimating you'll make in 5 minutes? Take that into your lab report and copy it and write it into the hypothesis section. All right, next you're going to be making as many compounds as possible using only those 3 elements you have chosen in your hypothesis. Are you going to go above or below your prediction? Maybe you'll match it. Make sure you jot down those 3 elements on a note so that you remember, because the other options are always going to be available to you. Drag and drop 2 elements into the mixing chamber to see what can be made. Remember, once you've made a new element, just like that last time, you can combine those new elements to see what else can be made. All right, so I'm going to get into this a little bit to show you. I have picked sodium and oxygen. If I combine those 2, I made a new compound. Now what I need to do is come up here into my table. The new compound I made is called sodium oxide, and this is the chemical formula of it. It used 2 sodium atoms and 1 oxygen atom. I see Na2. That little 2 means there were 2 sodium atoms, and there's no number next to the oxygen, so that means there's just 1. So in the box, I need to record 2 sodium and 1 oxygen. Now, in order to get this to close, I have to fill the rest with zeros. And then the save and close button will appear for me. And now I can continue. So I'm going to take this new one, and I'm going to see what happens if I add hydrogen to it, because that was my 3rd. Nothing happened. All right, what if I take sodium and hydrogen? I've created a new compound. Go into my data table. I created sodium hydride, NaH. So there's no numbers there, meaning one atom of sodium and one atom of hydrogen, and the rest have to be filled in as zeros. And then the save and close button appears and I can go back to mixing. You're going to continue to combine only those 3 elements you chose. So I would be sticking with sodium, hydrogen, and oxygen for mine. I cannot choose any of the other elements, but I can choose these new ones to see what happens if I add oxygen. I created another new element, sodium hydroxide. If I go to the table, there is the formula, NaOH. There's one atom of sodium, one atom of oxygen, and one atom of hydrogen. The rest are zeros. So continue building to see how many you can get done in 5 minutes. And I will see you at the end of this. Okay, so I have finished this. We've completed the compound frenzy. Remember to copy your data from this table right here into your lab report. So if I come back into the lab report and scroll down, right here I'm going to need to copy the name of the compound that was made and enter in the formula information for all of the compounds that were made. Then you can come and answer your conclusion questions. Hopefully this has helped you through the lab. Good luck. I look forward to seeing what you create and if you reached your hypothesis goal or not. If you have any questions, you know you can always email me or you can book an appointment and set up a time and I will help you through whatever you need help with. Take care, guys.